you know, when it comes to this idea of what grip to use, when you watch that little Chinese girl,
it's amazing.
Using this technique, which she probably just, well, it came naturally.
Yeah.
This isn't something that, as Murray would say, I'm not teaching you anything you haven't been doing since the day you were born. And so that's, yeah. So that's, and so the way she's throwing into toms and turning her wrists, and you know, making motions, throwing into the toms, and and so the idea of suddenly going into French, so she doesn't. You could. So you spent so many years studying with another wonderful teacher who I studied with as well, and Jim would typically, he called it a universal joint, which it is, but I think he meant it a little bit differently because I've Googled that. But what he would typically have me do is I would be in, you know, French, mostly French.
Yeah.
For simple times. So you did that for years and years. So when you go to play, you just play. You play from your heart. And at some point, if that is just one of your tools, and you develop another set of tools as well, that will happen organically.
Yeah.
Right? So, pardon me. So, yeah, you should watch that video again and really analyze it, and it helps us understand that this is something very natural. It's very organic. The problem is that when you spend time studying, and there's such a myriad of different ways to play out there, and again, there's no right or wrong way to play, but there are more efficient ways to play.
That's right. Yeah.
And so when you have come from, and you've talked about this, you came from not just Jim, you studied with some other people and scoured the web. Once certain information about how to hold the sticks and play, snare drum became more available. You had a very eclectic approach.
That's right.
Right? If I recall you telling me. So so we just chip away at this, and we don't when we're out in playing in public, we're playing from our hearts. We're not thinking about it. I can't tell you that I never think about my hands when I'm playing publicly, but the idea is to just play and believe in this stuff. So that's good though that you're out there played that jazz gig. What was it? The Poetry something
Cafe.
The Poetry Cafe?
Poetry Jazz Cafe, yeah.
Jazz Cafe. I like it even better. Good stuff. There's some gigs in Toronto. That's very cool. All right, so we were working on a Richard Wilson singles exercise. Right now, though, let's start with something that will help you tap into the origins or the essence of this technique, which is why that page, the Fate and Flam page, is so important. Pull out stick control. And go to page 16. So, pardon me. So, what we're looking at doing is, while you're searching for that, you need a briefcase. Dick Wilson would make you go out and buy a briefcase. He had all the students with long hair, and, hippie looking, not all of them, showing up with briefcases. It was an interesting juxtaposition. The neighbors clearly were trying to figure it out. And so what we're doing is trying to establish certain aspects of this technique. And if we can get them each in a vacuum, hopefully then we can start to intermingle them and recognize how they're all connected. Which is why when I read articles about, and they're out there now, you know, about fulcrum, there is no fulcrum. The fulcrum keeps moving, which actually Dick Wilson would talk about, but not moving in the way that's sometimes described in some of the things I read. And so the idea of only thinking about the fulcrum, and by the way, as I think we've talked about, everyone's caught up in the fulcrum in the hand, but what about the fulcrum in the wrist? Or fulcrum that is the wrist is a fulcrum. The elbow joint, the anticubical, that's a fulcrum. Shoulder is a fulcrum. Each of the knuckles is a fulcrum. We're this simple machine built out of the lever system. And so to only focus on the fulcrum, which is a huge part of the technique, but to only focus on it and to not observe the idea of the importance of the floor, to not observe this concept of the upstroke, which is the essence of this technique, which is what you see that little girl doing.
Yeah.
Right? She's not doing any of this. And there's no, she's got this big wrist turn, really big, beautiful wrist turns, right? With upstrokes. It's all right there and turning her wrists. So that's the other thing. We want to know how to turn our wrist. We want fulcrum potential, but we're not using the fulcrum in the hand to achieve rebounds. But it should always be available. So in other words, this technique is comprehensive, right? And so as I mentioned to you, that page, The Faint and Flam, which involves Spivack introducing us to the upstroke, or the single stroke, which is getting a note for free. One motion can give you two notes, right? One motion can give you two notes. So we're going to reinforce that. So if you put your metronome on at 40, so it starts with a right flam, doesn't it? Now, what you do is even though it seems somehow demeaning in that, you know, we're professional drummers. We can't play this, really? You know, I'm sure you've worked out all kinds of crazier things than this.
Yeah.
But to really understand what's going on here, it's important to take the time to dissect these things. So if we have a right flam, how do you even play a flam? I have Dick Wilson's first year. I have all of his years. But I've been looking at them, and he gets into the flam pretty quickly. Now, I came from having studied over at Murray's studio, so I was a little more advanced, perhaps. So he seemed to skip a bunch of strokes, and got me into some pretty challenging things early on. We talked about the flam and had me play a flam just one way, either right flams or left flams. And he talked about the fact that a flam is one hand high, one hand low, which, as Richard Martinez points out, that's an old school approach to playing flam. As I think Chad Wackerman talks about that on the DW Spivack lessons, and he talks about, well, one hand is high and the other hand's low, and you know, you get a flam. And then he got me into alternating flams. Right? But it's interesting to watch how Richard Wilson laid out this course study for me. It's very chronological. So here what we've got is a right flam. That means that we're going to have to what? We're going to have a floor. Big deal, right? And then one hand is going to raise and come back to the floor. So we're getting that, and then two less with this grip, using this grip, 3-finger grip. Okay, yeah, and so that's all it is. We're not in cut time now. It's in 2/4. Metronome on at 40, so you're just going to get and this hand is making that little turn. So go ahead and show that to me. Okay. You don't have to turn real high for those little notes. We're going to keep those notes quiet. Pianissimo, something like that. Maybe. Let's see how it goes.
How's this true?
Okay. And you could feel it in your hand when you hit the surface, can't you? Feel that? I don't play this way, so it's interesting. Let's see, my arm is just hanging there.
Yeah.
It's hardly moving. Turn a little lower, just to show me you can. You'll see that little girl doing this. When you watch it, she can do that. She can do that. She's like 11 years old or something. Unbelievable. No, you see, every time you go to play your flam, you turn higher. If anything, you'd think you'd turn lower. It's an appoggiatura. The left is playing the appoggiatura. Why would it be higher? Now, okay, so that's gotten a little better, right? You don't need your arm. You just do this little turn with this sex grip, okay? Now, I'm not, as Murray would say, I'm going to borrow his approach. I don't like what you're doing and you're right. God, no. And that's because every time you go to make your throw, it looks like you almost touched the surface.
Yeah.
So no one's listening. But if it was a drum, you'd probably hear it. And so if we're making a pure throw, there's no upstroke. See, there's no upstroke. I don't see an upstroke here. Not yet. So we have to be nice and flat, and then we come up and turn our wrists. And end up like that. Yeah, you see, like that. Okay, but what I want you to do is get to. I want you to turn your wrist to the ceiling. You have to turn your wrist to the ceiling. It has a feeling of leveraging up. as though we were playing a note. So you're not really coming back to the same place every time. Nope, it dips down every time. Nope, dip down. Dip down. Don't you see it? Look at yourself in the monitor or your mirror. Yeah, but you can't save it after the fact. As you go up, it can't dip. Right there, it dipped. It did. That's the Richard Martinez fixed point in the universe. Dick Wilson would say you leave the bead down when you go up. He wouldn't say you touched the surface. In fact, I think that was one student's contention. There was this wonderful student who thought that you did dip the bead slightly as you went up. So I took that to Richard Wilson, and so did this student, and Dick said, no, you don't. And so I think the conclusion was that if you do that, you're throwing away your power. We don't want to go up that way. We want to go up with a fixed point in the universe. We don't want to throw that away. We want to leverage around that. And then we want to cock our wrist. Go on up. See how mine looks? You don't need very much arm. It's little. Just go up and, yeah, it looks more flat now. Now take your other fingers off so I can see you have a 3-finger grip. You see? For me, I'm holding it here. So if I go to take my other fingers off, that middle finger wouldn't come off.
Yeah.
I just noticed that. All right, so, and maybe you can learn. And the butt end should be running to the meaty part of your hand, not right down the center. And it might be just a little more to the pad, a little to the other side of the bone, just a little more. It looks like your stick is really look more like that, but I want it. What would it look like? See? It's hard to tell, you see, because the view might change it a little. Okay, so if I have a 3-finger grip, that's what's holding the stick. So these fingers are free to move away, and this 3-finger grip doesn't go away. There, that's better. There. Okay, right. So now, can you go up and maintain that? You don't need to clutch. Nope, it dipped. It dipped. Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
It's the kind of thing where, you know, maybe you let certain things go for a while. There you go. Beautiful. See, you're not all rounded out or twisted. It's nice and flat. You don't have to go up anymore once you're there. You were already up. Up, you didn't concentrate. You didn't concentrate on the dip. Up, you dipped a little. Just go up nice and flat. Nope, you have to go smooth and not dip. You went kind of way up, but and are you coming all the way back down to? There you go. Now cock your wrist. Don't go up anymore. There you go. Do it again. Oh, don't go twisting, and you don't have to go up too much. I want you to make a bigger deal out of cocking to the ceiling. Come on, cock to the ceiling. Yeah, now don't stop. Just go smoothly and cock, but don't dip. Good. Better. See, it's better. Now, play a right flange.
So
See?
Going up to there gently, and then cocking the rest of the ceiling.
Yeah. There you go.
That feels more solid as well.
Good. It looks really good.
Oh, it's good.
Isn't that funny? This much of a difference.
Yes.
Because you're throwing your power away, and when it doesn't quite feel right. Okay. So yeah, you're dipping. Dip. You're dipping. But your turns are really nice, and don't turn higher for the appoggiatura, for the flat. You're spoiling the stroke. It should be smaller. Make it smaller. So there's a lot to think about now, isn't there? Don't dip. There, now you get 3 small turns in your left, and don't dip. There you go. Better, yeah. It is more solid, and you appear to be more aligned. I can just see your focus has changed. Okay, now go the other way. Play exercise number 2.
Yeah.
See, this is the stuff I work on too, especially with this grip. I'm not used to. I don't play very often this way.
This is great. This section is the book is very. It's great.
We could play louder. I'm not as used to throwing this way. So let's see what it. Don't dip. It's not willy-nilly. It's very specific place, that bead. That's your floor. You're losing the floor every time you dip. You're not making a note. Why should the bead move like that? Towards the surface? That's not this technique. Don't dip. Almost. Let's go up nice and smooth, 3-finger grip, and then cup your wrist and come all the way back down. Okay, now let's try the next exercise. That's going to be...
Is this better, Kevin?
It is better.
So you don't want to see this happen.
Correct.
There's
Yeah,
still
I just
space between the bead and the batter head, and then that.
Okay, yeah, exactly. See? There, like that. Okay? That's really good. Now, let's play the next one.
Now let's alternate.
Huh?
That's good.
Now, sometimes it can be helpful to turn for those notes. You can turn for those notes so that we know you're really making playing a wrist turn. Now turn a little higher for those. Why do I see an upstroke? You're playing it. Are you playing it? No, it's just, okay, this is where you have to dissect. It's a right flam.
Yeah.
And then how many rights?
It's you're playing a wrist turn on the end, and one, and then another wrist turn forms your appoggiatura.
So how many rights? We have a throw that's a right, and then how many regular wrist turn rights will you have?
3.
How many?
3.
Yeah.
This is the appoggiatura.
But that's not what you were doing. So just play what's written. There it is. See, there's no upstroke.
But there is an up motion.
No. There's an up, but you changed it again. Nope, you played an upstroke. You're changing the sticking. I'm not quite sure what you're doing. 3 notes. Now 3 notes in the left. 3 notes in the right, and the left isn't going to dip. 3 notes in the left, and the right's not going to dip. Turn a little higher for your turn so I can see you're turning your wrists. No, that's where you put in. See, I asked you to play. Maybe that's what it was. It's triggering something. Playing higher. No, there's no upstroke. No, you're playing something different. No, it doesn't go tap, tap, up. It never does that. Ever. There it is. All even. Oh, there you caught yourself. Don't turn higher for the appoggiatura. 3 wrist turns that are of the same height. Now they're tiny, which is cool. We can do it that way, but I want Now I'm challenging you to turn a little more for your wrist turns. No, I want the whole thing at mezzo with the flams at forte. Mezzo, flams at forte. That's not mezzo, that's like pianissimo. Got the sticking right. Come on, turn your wrists. Give me mezzo. I can't stop you from playing mezzo most of the time. Now I can't get you to play mezzo. Turn, turn, turn. Turn, turn, turn. Turn, turn, turn.
You want those,
turn.
You want those wrist turns at mezzo piano?
Mezzo forte.
Oh, mezzo forte.
Yeah, I'm turning. Watch.
You said you wanted them like also.
Well, we started that way, but then I asked you, can you turn higher for them? And suddenly you started playing upstrokes and everything went wonky. So that's hard for you to do for whatever reason. Nope. No, playing an upstroke, you see? See that just the challenge of thinking about the dynamics has messed up your mode. Doesn't do that. Does that. Right. 3 right turns, all maybe 3.5 inches high. And you don't dip. Yeah. Starting to come along now. See, now it's becoming solid again. Don't go clamping with your back fingers. You can do it like this. Okay, it's good. Okay, now what about the next?
It's heavy.
Cool, isn't it?
No dipping.
No dipping, babe. All right. So it's now we have an upstroke, don't we?
That's right.
Okay, that's what we're looking for. Now we need to make an up. Now it's not a dip, it's a note. We get that to that. And look, see how nice and flat it stays? And we're just doing that. It's nice and smooth, it's musical. Notice I spent a lot of time going to the ceiling. I get that first note, and I'm going to come back and be flat. So I'm at the floor. Always at the floor. And if I'm not at the floor, then how can I make that little note? It'll change. Now I'll be up here and I'll go to make the little note. There won't be a surface. Now give me a little more volume on your little turns. Just enough so I can hear it. But I want the upstroke to be dropped from parallel.
Yeah.
So you get the 2 little turns, don't you? 2 little turns. But your up is just going to bend forward and you're going to plant the pole vault. Thank you, Richard Martinez. That's very helpful. But I don't think you are. So let's look at it. You really have to do this, put this, this, up. Here's what it looks like. In the right. Just get down to the floor. Down to the floor in the right. It's wonked out. It's wonked out. You've lost it. You've lost it. You've lost your throw. It's just wonky. You've been really successful until here, and now in a minute you will continue to be successful. Just follow what I'm doing. You see, you lost. This is what I was talking to you about in the beginning of the lesson. That we get these things in a vacuum, and they just reoccur over and over, and you can start to see how they fit together. All the pieces of the technique, right? So we have this throw. that can't ever go away, but it has. Now you're back to something like this. Who knows if you're dipping or not, because now there's an upstroke. So you see, that's not it. That doesn't look right to me. So let's just, you got your little turns, you've got your turns, right? We're just turning the wrist, turning the wrist. So we get down to that parallel position. Now what we need to do is get the pole vault. We're going to plant the pole. You can turn for it. Just turn. It'll go up. Do it. And that looks good in your left. Oh, I was thinking about, good, now do it in the right. See, it's as important as the dip. It's not this. It's not. See if I can copy you. Now I'm trying to do it incorrectly. That's not right. There's like another, it's not a dip, it's the opposite of, I don't know what it is. But it's motion that's unnecessary. You're floating up, watch. Yeah. You make your note, and now you're kind of floating up, thinking that, not quite knowing what you're doing. As opposed to, we want note, 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 note. You see? Note. So you have to get that note. And it will look like this with your 3-finger grip. You got to get down parallel. First, find the floor. This is stuff that is, but it'll always be like this once you get it. There. Are you a ½ inch above? Are you too close? Where are you? Decide. Maybe just a little, just so you have enough room to get to the surface. Give yourself a little. No, wait. I just want you to find the floor. You see? I just want you to find the floor. See how far away I am from the surface? So that I don't have to go up. I can just dip. I shouldn't have called it a dip. That was good. Now I want an upstroke. You see, it'll be like that thing where you didn't dip. Now you're gonna touch. But it's gonna be very much like that. Nope, you're moved after. It's not, the note isn't part of the motion. That should be. Oh, you're moving after. You're making a note and then lifting. It's one thing. Come on, one thing. Boom. Note. Nope. It's got to come up. It's going to do a note. Note. Almost. Come on. Note. See? Note. Watch. Over here on this side. Just let it fall. Note. No, copy me. I'm not here. I'm just right here. You can see right into, you can see how you can see into my hand?
Yeah.
It's not choked up. You can see into my hand. All right. So now we're just gonna let it drop. No, you just let it drop. See, that's not better. Now you can kind of you could just turn for it. Or you could just let gravity take it down. Feels like the whole hand is going to fall off. I'm just letting, but I hold on to the stick. Try again. Okay, bring it up. Lift it up. It's a little work. No, I need you over here. Stay with me, man. Right? See on my arm? Your arm's way down here. My arm's parallel. My arm's kind of, we're like that. I'm over here though. You look like this to me. It's more flat. It looks like this. Like that. That was good. No, you're fine. Stay with me. We'll just sort this out. It's a bit of work on both of our parts. Okay, come over here. Now I'm asking you to do what you did before. Okay. Now just swivel that over. Don't lower your forearm. Good. Now what I want you to do is, leaving the forearm alone, I just want you to, with the 3-finger grip, just drop the stick. Look, you're up. Your wrist went up. You didn't even know it. And you weren't asking it to go up. It just did a certain thing. The body, yeah, like that. Now, that's what I want you to do over here. Only it's going to be tiny, because we're going to get to the surface.
Should I raise my pad up, Kevin?
Well, we've talked about that. I do. I think you sit in a way that isn't really. It seems to be sometimes at odds with this technique. I'm trying to get you to be parallel. Find your floor, and you're up high with your forearms high at the floor. So, yeah, you want the pads height to be compatible with this technique. Maybe. Dick used to have this really high, but that's interesting. But that's there. Good. Looks good. Okay, now you're just going to make, boom, one note. Boom. Take the stick out of your hand. Take the stick out of your right hand. Grip looks really nice. You're just like this, right? You just go, boom. There's your note. And your wrist went up. It went up. You just went, boom. Just a little, boom. Really good, boom, there. You won't do that. See, there's your note. Do it again with me. That was good. Boom. Okay, now cock your wrist. Stay with me now. Keep watching me. There's your boom. We're not doing it smooth. We're doing it in 2 stages. And then you cock your wrist. You don't have to come up anymore. You're up. Boom, you're up. Now cock your wrist. Yeah, when you cock your wrist, your forearm will come down a tiny bit. Yours doesn't. There. Yeah, you really have to cock it. It'll come down. Just like, look, it went up and you didn't make it go down. Now moving around that fixed point in the universe, it'll come down. Try it. Just stick with me. Go on up. Get a little. Now come down and don't cock your wrist. Just come back. Follow it. No. That was better, but just come back. Like that. You're back to the floor. Why would cocking your wrist? You'd think the cocking of the wrist would make it come down even more, because now you got all this weight above. That kind of feeling. Cock your wrist. Boom. Now put a stick in your hand and see if you can get that. Just the upstroke in the right. Kind of the little guy went on the pole vault. He ran up. He stuck it in the ground and he went up. You plant that thing and it goes up. Right again. Yeah, good. You're not. 3-finger grip. Ooh. Now do it all in one smooth motion. Don't go up any higher. Just time it. Boom, boom. Up. No. Suddenly it went up way up. No, don't lose it. It's tiny. And throw. Do it. Throw. Okay, now see, do that in the other hand. Do that in the other hand. That's a better direction. Remember, cock to the ceiling and let that forearm come down. It's going to move in the opposite direction. The forearm is going up when you go down, and when you go up, the forearm will go down. It's going to be backwards. It's a little counterintuitive. Beautiful. There. See, if you did that, you'd be playing flams. Okay, now play this exercise. Using that, see, now your throw is back. You're not doing that twisty thing. 3-finger grip. Metronome at 40. You spend the whole lesson on this, but this is the stuff. Up. Ooh. There's your little pole vault. Cock. Pole vault. Cock. Cock just a little more. Pole. Don't do anything there. Just cock a little. Just a little. 3-finger grip. No, don't start twisting in your left. Hold that 3-finger grip in the left. Cock your wrist to the ceiling on the way down. Don't make your little turns bigger. Don't go throwing your fingers open. Just hold it here. All right. It's much better. Okay. You've got the thing. You've got. It's like you become aligned. It's like the third eye. You seem much more. Look at you. You seem centered. My mother was, danced on Broadway. Was a formerly trained ballet dancer, and she would talk about, what are they called, plies, right? And they're like turning 360 degrees on a dime, and they imagine a pole running down the center of the head, right? It's like you've got this thing now where you look as though there's symmetry to your positioning, and it sounds more stable, therefore. Okay, that was good. Okay, so we're just going to do that. Let's take it to there, and that means we're going to 1 through 4, okay, at 40. Now, boy, we just spent a lot of time on this, but it had, I think it was time well spent.
Absolutely.
So, how can I do this? Okay, let's see. I'll do this. I think you'll appreciate this. It's real simple. I'm gonna text you this.
The page of stick control with Richard's markings in it.
No, this is something different.
Oh, something different.
I'll keep supplying you. Yeah, but you'll like this.
Take a look at this.
Let's see. Okay. So I'll email this to you. But in the meantime, I just texted it to you.
Okay. I never seen that.
Well, I just. It's currently over Niagara Falls somewhere on the Canadian side. It's very beautiful.
Nothing get it.
You see it? Did you get it?
No.
Well, you know, those Canadians, they can be kind of tough at the border, so they're probably inspecting it.
Oh, here it is.
I don't know. They're complaining they don't see any metric modulation, so they're a little bugged about that. The metronome equals a half note, which is kind of boring.
You said this to me already. I have it right here. You sent that to me before.
You're not thinking about the one in 1916?
No.
Oh, cool. Good.
Oh, you sent me this one. I'll show it to you.
I believe you.
That one, that way.
But didn't I have you play it? This was a while back. Did I have you just play it on the wrist though, right?
This here, yeah, because this is gonna take a look.
That's not what I want to do today. I'm going to present it to you the way Dick Wilson presented it to me.
Okay.
And this is an offshoot of more stick control.
Oh, I have it right here on this page.
That's cool. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. It's right here. Print it off.
Oh, that's because we weren't working on that. We were working on the singles exercise at the bottom of that.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, at the bottom. That's right.
Great. You got it.
Okay.
Now I'm putting it together. So we've worked on this. Now we're going to get into the fulcrum in the hand, okay? So what we just did was provide you this aspect of the technique that is utterly fundamental. You can never lose the floor. You can never lose the up motion. It doesn't dip. You can never lose an upstroke so that you go up and you pole vault it up and you're not moving while you're not making a note. That would be inefficient. We only move to make notes. Note, 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 turn, turn. See, it's all a wrist turn. Okay? So now we're going to bring some of that to this, but now we're going to get into, and clearly we have a fulcrum in the wrist here, don't we? And when we leave the bead down, whether we're making an up motion or an upstroke, in a sense, the bead could be considered a fulcrum because we're moving around.
That's right.
This very specific area. There's your fulcrum, right? See it? Okay. So, Dick had us playing page 5 in stick control with rebounds, right? They typically have you throw into it, even though that's not mentioned. I'm going to have you throw for this. And it's like, what is it, number 13, page 5, where you're throwing for 4 notes in each hand. And then you're going to play 2 groups of 6 eighth notes. And you're back to the top. Okay? So go ahead and put them at, yeah, go ahead and put the metronome on it at 72. I think it'd be helpful to have a tempo. I'm used to doing this in matched, in traditional. There's the up. There's the up motion. Try. So I'm trying to get this part right. Notice they get quieter. It fades away, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, yours isn't. You're doing this. Some kind of finger thing? It has to be because it's not rocking over. It's not rocking over the fulcrum. so that the energy is slowly being dissipated. Quieter and quieter till it disappears. Okay, just do this. Just do this. Four notes. No throw. I'm just turning. Ah. You don't have to throw your hand open. Are you at the floor? You don't need to throw your fingers open either. You just hold it here. Just hold it. But if you've been playing for fingers for years, it can be counterintuitive. But that's the fulcrum in the hand. See? Or there's a little throw. Look, see how little it does this, and then I cock my wrist. Yeah, here's what I see you doing. Watch. Here's what I see you doing. Watch my middle finger. Watch. Look how much it opens up.
Yeah.
You open up like this. Yeah, look, that's how much you open. I don't. Here's just one note. Here's four. There's not very much happening. One note, four notes. I just hold on to it here. I don't open up like you are. Do it again. No, you have to cock your wrist. You're shoving. Don't shove. No, hold on here. Almost. Just throw for one note. Hold on here. Do it again. Now watch. Turn your wrist to the ceiling. Turn your wrist to this. Look how high I'm turning. And watch my arm. There's no shoving. I'm trying not to. Do it again. No, my arm is barely moving. Oh, you're doing this. And look, my bead isn't coming up very much. And then when you go to make notes, you open up your hand. So you get that. And then it does this. Close, and everything moves. But all this movement. Whereas instead, the gig is that we just want to throw and have everything come to the floor. So just give me just back to the throw. Just give me a throw. Just do this. That thing we just worked on where you don't dip. Come on. Up little. Come back down. See how little? Look, tiny bit. Make it smaller. Too much. Let's minimize this. Do you have your 3-finger grip? It's laying in there, right? Wedged against it's in the middle finger, first finger, thumb have it. It's against the palm, and you're nice and flat. Down. We're trying to get down here. All right. Now all I want you to do is that. Here, come back down. Look how little I'm moving. Just move a little. There you go. Now there, and cock your wrist. You don't have to come up anymore. I mean, you're not cocking your wrist. Cock the wrist. Cock your wrist. I want the stick to be perpendicular to the actual floor and to this floor, because we're in match grip, so the floor is the floor is the floor. Do it again. Oh, different, isn't it? Come on, hold it here. If you can do this, come on. Look, watch. I put up a video last night where I'm playing singles and I'm like really high. I'm turning high. Come on, do this. No, I'm up here. Three finger grab. Three finger grab. Almost, come on, turn to the ceiling. Turn, better. Three finger grab. Ceiling. Come on, you're only turning to here. Ceiling. There it is. Turn your rest. You can scream it at you. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to do that little dip and turn our wrist for an honest to goodness throw and come back to the floor here. No, you're doing this again. It's this little thing, and then it feels more like a regular wrist turn. Like that. But don't stop, and you're not turning to the ceiling. It's one smooth thing. That gets it going, and then you immediately have to get up to the ceiling. Almost. Come on, don't stop. No, I don't want to know. Almost. Almost. Don't push. Don't shove. Turn. There. Tiny little break of the wrist and turn your wrist. Come, no. It's not that slow, is it? Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Don't make a note on the way up. Up, down. Say up, down.
Up, down.
Ooh, coming along. Coming along.
Down.
Now this time, just hold on here, which you're doing right now, and just let it bounce. Let it bounce. Don't shove with your arm. Almost. Almost. There you go. Better. Okay. Let's try the exercise again. Better. Oh, you want to stay there? Okay.
Yeah,
You can face me. You can face me now. I think that would make sense. Okay. So it's quite different than what you're doing, but you see, we have what we already learned from the stick control previous. That is, we have a floor. We have this motion going up that doesn't dip or makes a note in concert with the motion. Here, we're not making a note, an upstroke. For the throws, not yet. But you don't get to stop. It's just got to be a little turn, and you turn your wrist to the ceiling. Don't come up that much. Too much of this. Come on, that's enough. And don't bend. Just hold it here. It should be real. Look how flat. You're moving too much. There it is. Three finger grip so that the stick can flow through there. There it is, almost. Let it bounce through 4 times. Dot, 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 dot. Yeah, it kind of dies away. Don't go throwing your hand open. You're losing the floor. Get right back down to that floor. You don't have to open your hand. You have to trust that it'll bounce. Now do that the other hand. It's not this big thing. It's this tiny little, look, it's this small. It's mostly about turning your wrist. There it is. Put them together. 4, 4, 4. No metronome. Go for it. In time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. With that motion. Cocking to the ceiling now. Don't throw your hand open. Da, 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 da. Can you open it up a little bit? This is why you want. No, you twist it. You're making this the primary thing. It's this that I want you to get. There! And let it bounce with a 3-finger, almost. Dot, dot, metronome at 72. This might be too advanced. This was my first year. This was my first lesson. if you can believe it. There may have been one lesson before I went into Richard Wilson, and then I went and took some lessons with Roy Burns, and then I went back. And Roy was a sweetheart, and it was very cool, but Richard never let me forget it. Okay, so there may be one other earlier lesson. I don't know where it is. Okay, you can do it. That little thing, it's about cocking to the ceiling. Tiny little bend, too much of this. You can feel it, can't you? There it is, it's just that little, and cock to the ceiling. Hey, don't open your hand up, just hold it here. And put the exercise. Da, 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 da. Knock the floor on the right. Look at your right. Your right's up here somewhere. Can't see, you lost the floor. There's no chance of an upstroke now. You're throwing your fingers open. Cock more to the ceiling. You're not cock way up to the ceiling, almost perpendicular, as a means of helping you feel it through exaggeration. Nope, stop. Look at your right. Your right's up in the air. It's cool. You have to come all the way back down to the floor, just like the very first thing we worked on. Right? See, it's all going to connect. This is tricky. This is kind of advanced.
Yeah.
That's right, like that. Yeah. So you're going to maybe practice it. Just make a throw. Why don't you do that? Just so it's 1, 2, dot 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 3, 4, and then dot 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 dot. Just get that. No, you're not cocking to the ceiling. Look, check it out. I know I'm getting a little exaggerated. So I want you to cock to the ceiling. I want you to cock to the ceiling. See how high I'm coming up? Look. There. Come on, you almost did it. No, now you're lost your floor. You're up in the air. Come on, get down, 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 down. That little bend and then cock to the ceiling for a throw. Too much of this. How are you ever going to find the floor? Maybe I'm wondering. Come on, you're not cocking enough. No, it's all the way to the ceiling. Watch. He goes, yeah. Watch. Ooh. He doesn't go. He goes, there's this. It's just turning my wrist. Almost. There you go. Come on, now the other hand's coming along. Come on, don't give me the gooseneck. I want you cocking to the ceiling. No, too much about the up. And the up is slower and smoother. All the way up to the ceiling. The roller coaster goes, and then comes back down. Get to the top of the hill. There it is. Now the other hand. 1, 2, ceiling. No, back and forth 4 times, and then play the 6 groups of 6. Don't lose your floor. That's twice as fast. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're not cocking to the ceiling. No, watch. It'd be da 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 ba da 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 ba da da ba. So it's in the timing of the metronome on it 72. On it 72. See, this is going to work on your singles, right? This is like a singles exercise too. You got to make the throws. But it'd be as though you're playing, you're not cocking to the ceiling. You got to cock to the ceiling, come back down. Remember, slow. Not that fast. The throw itself isn't that fast. Up, down, right? It's that. See, it's this smooth. Yours seems seems like you're rushing through this. Whereas I just want you to turn your wrist. Ah, 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 and I usually do it this way. Ah, ah, not set up for it. Ah, 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 that's what we're going for. But right now you're not playing the rebounds. You're just going to make the motion because you're not giving me the motion. You're not turning to the ceiling. There it is. Is the metronome on?
No.
Yeah, we've got to have the metronome on. You're not cocking the ceiling. You're giving me some little thing down here. I want tip, tip. I want ah, 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 turn higher. It's not to get higher, you don't come up higher. You turn your wrist higher. No, you're making this lifting here. No. Come up less here and turn more here. Almost. What about the upstroke for your singles? Where's that going to be? Where will it be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Where will it be? Let's make sure. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1. So it's on 5, isn't it? I'm not turning to the ceiling. You're not turning to the ceiling. No, stop. It's definitely getting better, but I'm not giving up quite yet. You can leave your metronome on because we need that timing. Getting to the ceiling, I know it would seem like, well, I'll just lift higher. So I can get up to the ceiling. I'm going to lift higher. This will make it, this will spoil your timing. You won't be able to get to the ceiling. I know it looks like you're close. Look, I'm closer to the ceiling. The way to get to the ceiling isn't by lifting this up a lot. The way to get to the ceiling is by just doing this little bend and turning to the ceiling. Yeah, it's not this. When I say you're not turning to the ceiling, the last thing I want you to do is do more of this to get to the ceiling. What I want you to do is less of this and turn to the ceiling. Turn to the ceiling. Turn to the ceiling. Turn to the ceiling. No, you're coming up too much. Now turn higher. 3-finger grip, you're clamping it down. It's not free in your hand. Come on, 3-finger grip, let it be free. Just right in here. Right in there, you're coming up too much. There it is. It's starting to travel now a little, isn't it? It's not all clamped down. I'm just holding it here. Whatever happens, happens. No upstroke. But you don't stop, and you're not at the floor. I know it's hard. No. No, you're not turning high enough. Almost. There it is, coming. It's coming. 3-finger grip, get your back fingers off. Just take them off. There it is. There it is. Come on, turn higher. That's not the arm. It's this. It's this. There it is. There it is. Come on. Ah, there it is. Turn. 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 There it's coming. Now do that the other hand. Turn. Throw in the other hand. Almost. Come on, little 3-finger grip. Turn higher. Higher. Turn. Turn. Higher. Higher. Don't do more of this. No, you're just doing, there it is. There it is. Right. Right. Now just go da 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 da. With that little grip. You don't just stay with me. Da 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 da. Come on. Okay, turn higher. 3-finger grip. Now watch. One last thing. Get in there. What I don't, for some reason, here's what it sounds like. You get this, and that, and you get that, and you get that, and then it goes. But it's look. Look. Just do this. See the 3-finger grip? See, I'm just turning. Do that. It's not this muscular thing. It's this cool, gentle. Right. You don't go down harder than you come up. Now play the accent. Now play the accents and do that. Turn higher. Higher. There it is. No. Turn higher. No, don't. I'm going to, because you're so damn close. Not more of this. More of the turn to the ceiling. No, play that gently. There. There it is. 3-finger grip. Gentle. Now it has some elegance. Right? Starting to become more elegant. There's that. Oh, don't give me the da 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 da. No. Nice and easy. There.
Yeah, I gotta take it slower. In tempo.
Well, then it won't rebound. That's where it's tricky.
Yeah,
But you're right. You could do, if we're not going to play the rebounds, I'm going to have you play it from 52.
Yeah.
52.
Yeah.
Up to 72, and once you get to 72, if you can start to hone in on these specific aspects I'm talking to you about, I'm asking you, then you're ready to start to try to let it rebound. And until you can actually get down to the floor, there's no hope of doing all. That's what you're doing. You're saving the day. Because it's not going to work with the 3-finger rebound grip, fulcrum grip. If you don't have what you had earlier, it was coming along, right? You were playing the up and then you were cocking your wrist. We worked on that. So you can't lose that. So the first thing we worked on will help cement this. And this will help cement the first thing we worked on. And the two will complement each other. Okay. I'm going to turn this off. Good job.